Welcome to Almost Above Average with Chris McIntyre. I am your host, and today we're diving into another Thoughtful Thursday episode with Dr. Joe Shepard. In this episode, we explore the intricate web of personal growth, self-care, and the crucial role of support systems in achieving our health and fitness goals. We're going to navigate the challenges of digital publishing, unpack family health dynamics, and discuss the power of vulnerability and authenticity in our personal journeys. Dr. Joe and I will share insights on finding balance in life, embracing failure, and how our struggles can inspire others. We'll also delve into the complexities of family relationships, the importance of self-love, and the humorous side of parenting mishaps. So buckle up for an engaging conversation that will leave you inspired and ready to show up for yourself and others.
On vacation, we've rearranged some things in the house to make a better configuration for work. It's included switching out my office space. Need sacrifice.
Hey, I added to my background today. I put a couple books up.
You've got all the backdrop, and I'm out here. If you even know how to read.
Well, I had to compete. Literally, I had to compete with you. I was like, dude, Dr. Joe's background was super cool last time. I got to do something. So I put something to represent that I play music and something to represent that I also read books.
Oh, see, listen, you
For the good people. For the good people.
You're covering all the bases. We had to.
I got to make sure all my listeners know that I can read and understand and comprehend the English language.
And Chris is the person who taught me how to read, and so I'm still working on my lighting as well, trying to get it together.
I'm going all natural today. This is all natural light.
Oh, so you're going chilly then, cold and natural.
Well, I'm trying to stay warm because it is getting chilly out here. We got snow in the forecast.
And you know what? I think I have another light that's going to do better on this side. Let me see something.
You do what you got to do, bruh.
I'm right here. I think I'm going to light it up.
Do it.
Let's see if that did anything. Oh, I think we did something.
Oh, that's good.
Something happened.
Do you have a mic, or are you just using your computer?
I'm just using the computer. I do have a microphone, but I don't have it set up. Okay.
Did you use it last time?
No.
No? The audio sounded pretty good last time. But I also figured out a trick on how to make the audio better. I can pull it straight from the video, isolate it, double it up, and it makes it sound more fuller. So I've been playing around with the audio stuff.
So if you do calculus with the sound system, you can work it out.
Pretty much.
Okay, so I can layer it, double it up. So if you just run the interview through Pro Tools.
Do you have Pro Tools? Are you versed in Pro Tools?
Versed is a strong word.
It is.
The way you're using language already, I'm aware that certain software exists. In my awareness of its existence, I have read plenty of summaries, gotten through half of a lot of tutorials.
So no experiences.
I don't know if that includes being versed. I'll get to that. That's another thing on the to-do list. Thing number 10-578A.
We'll get there. You got to go one at a time.
57-A F9er.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you, are you on Substack?
I'm not.
No? Do you do a lot of writing?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you did. And when I was posting some video stuff on Substack the other day, and I was like, I wonder if Dr. Joe publishes on here. There's just tons of people that publish on Substack. It's a really good platform.
So I've never done blogging or digital publications, which I should. Dr. Joe is from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And he's still writing books and doing book signings like an archaic relic. And I said, hey, when I get finished with some of our catalog, that I would break some things down and put some things on digital platforms. And I know a lot of people who blog, it's like, hey, you got to get on here. You can just break down one of these chapters over here and it'll work. And I haven't gotten into the promotional or the branding portion, which I like to move a lot faster in that direction this year. So far, I email myself from wherever I am safely. And I'm on Microsoft Word, and I get together and I do the dirty work of editing at home. All the fun stuff that Chris enjoys, all the things that I loathe. And so right now we're in the process of lacing some work. Lacing is like where you take your article and figure out where it's going to go and what pieces are going to go where. So I probably have 57 emails that I've sent to myself that I have to go through, in addition to everyone else's emails. So if you've emailed me and haven't received a response, it's not personal. I have also not responded to my.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably didn't even respond to you yet.
I haven't responded to me.
Uh-huh.
I'll look and see what it is and click unread because then I'll have to get back to it.
Hey, it's not selfish to prioritize yourself. It's not.
We can only love our neighbor as we love ourselves.
Yeah.
And much of anything else is performance value. And I think we get very good at performing. And when we get burnt out of performing, then people hold our hand to the fire. Hey, you didn't show up for me. Hey, you didn't do this for me. Hey, I don't see you doing your normal thing. I was doing that out of sheer entertainment value because I wanted the applause, not because I actually had capacity.
Right.
And in a season where I'm just committed to being more fluidly honest and transparent with myself.
It's a game changer.
It's not that it's me first because I'm more important than it's me first because if I'm drowning, there's no way I can save anybody else.
Right.
There's this wonderful analogy that they give that's a life changer of the game where you're on the plane and they're giving the instructions. It's wonderful for everyone who loves to travel. They give you this death tale. Listen, if in the event we crash, plummet from the sky at this cruising altitude, and you are plunging to your death somehow, make sure you put on this mask. Make sure you do this. Your seat is now a flotation device.
Plummeting to your death. Remember all this.
As you're doing this, please bear in mind these instructions that we're giving you from the ground. The doors are going to be used as surfboards. Your seats are going to be flotation devices.
Ironic because we're hitting a mountain, but you use the seat as a flotation device.
You're going to have this mask that drops down, put it over your face like this. It's going to obstruct your vision, but don't worry about that. And then they give this wonderful detail. If this actually occurs, make sure you put on your mask first before trying to help the person next to you.
Right.
And a lot of times, emotionally, we're all plummeting. And we will, hey, let me help. In addition to wearing masks that cover us to keep us safe, we will try to help others with their masks. And the idea is, dude, you're suffocating. You're not even taking a deep breath. How are you there showing up for people? And you're not showing up for you. And I don't want to show up for people less. I just want to be able to show up for me more.
That's a good way to put that. Me too, man.
Oh, I didn't make any coffee or anything. I came here, no coffee, no tea, no water.
There's no caffeine in you right now, Dr. Joe?
Just dry and genuine. Just
okay.
All I have is fresh breath for you.
I'm with it. This is pure unadulterated Dr. Joe Shepard in the flesh.
This is as raw as it gets. You've got shower fresh, sparkly green sparkly green tea.
You're telling me no powders, no enhancement creams. You're going
zero. You've got Listerine and lotion.
I don't know how you do it.
We're gonna hit it. Don't worry. Immediately after, I'm going to be preparing some very sugary substance of caffeine. I may herbalize it with some tea and turmeric, or we just may go down the rabbit hole and just put some caramel coffee there.
Caramel? No, you're not going to go honey in the tea?
Well, if you go tea, then honey. But if you go coffee, then it's got to be like caramel macchiato and hazelnut.
I like the sugar-free one. I was thinking to switch. This year, I want to try to get into... I really want to try to cut sugar out. I don't think it's reasonable to think that I can completely cut it out, but I want to try to build some habits around maybe one day a week where I allow myself soda and candy and stuff. Because I love soda and candy. But it is keeping me at this place where I can't get any more progress, it seems like, working out.
I think I am at 1 day a week.
1 day?
No sugar. Just you're at 6 days. Sugar. I'm at, because mind you, we're talking about tea and coffee. And in between those two things, I got a juicer for my birthday, and it's sitting next to the apples and kale and cucumber. And that didn't even come to my mind. It's all to edit that part out. Immediately after this conversation.
Okay. Will do.
But we're gonna have some clean juice so that we can continue to polish an amazing day.
think we're gonna try to switch the whole family. This year we're going. It feels like the family's taking a turn onto a healthier plane. My daughter and son-in-law, they were over here last Sunday and they were talking about quitting vaping, and they were betting each other. If I quit vaping, then we'll do this. If I quit vaping, then I'll do this. So we're all involved, and we're like, how about this? If you guys can quit vaping, quit for 30 days, and we'll all get gym memberships to Lifetime Fitness. Because by the money you guys save doing that, we can afford a gym membership.
For sure.
So they're doing pretty good. We're 2 weeks in, and everyone's kind of focused on this goal of getting to go to Lifetime Fitness and just hang out as a family and be fit.
I love it.
I'm excited. I hope it takes.
No, it's definitely going to. I'm wow. Congratulations to the McIntyres.
It's not a big deal. We didn't do nothing yet.
Because just putting that stimulus out there is encouraging for anyone else trying to find motivation and or incentive in order to be able to make progress, because sometimes people are at a standstill and they don't have those creative ideas to be able to support.
Right.
And one of the reasons we don't make a lot of change is just because we don't have a lot of support. And so in the world of I want to be the difference that I want to see, and I want to be the change that I'm looking for in the world. And we say these wonderful things, but often those things aren't supported with either ideas or finances or just someone else who's interested in your journey. And so it's like, hey, I want to do better for myself. Do it by yourself. It doesn't ring the same. And because I've done so many other things based on the comfort of other people. And so you need people to just on the back. You need that. You shouldn't be dependent on it.
Right.
But it's good to have a family. It's good to have tribe. And that's an example that we don't often have of how home can be supportive of your health endeavors. How the home.
And that was never our family dynamic. Years ago, through 4 children, our family dynamic was two parents go to work, we come home, we have a couple drinks, we barbecue, and we go to bed. That was kind of the vibe that it used to be. And now, since I sobered up and I got into fitness and stuff like that, it's been a couple years now. And then now the kids and the family are like, well, we want to do it too. It became something for them to want, but it didn't start like that. They just thought I was stupid and crazy because I'm going to the gym every day.
When the results show some impact.
Right.
Being in shape, and that's not the impact, but it's the quality of life. That's you know what? Dad seems to have a peace. Dad seems to have a joy. Dad seems to have another level of calm. He's got a he's got another layer of reserve.
Yeah.
And so I want that. And if getting in shape is what leads me to that, if going to church is what leads me to that, if studying more in my profession leads me to that, if developing my craft, whatever it takes, I'm willing to try it because it's the piece that comes along with it that I'm here for.
Right.
And so I want to be in the best shape. But if I meet someone who's in great shape, but I love their personality, it's like we should work out together. If that's the thing that helps you, and I want what you got, cool. If your thing is church, then we should go to church together. We should go to the mosque together. If you're like this because you go to the movies and you're inspired, we should go to the movies together.
Right.
Maybe our dogs can walk together, whatever the case might be, because it's your personality that rings through, and that's healing. And what people don't often say is, healing looks good on you.
It's that connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
That connection with another person that I think most people don't get as often as they need it. You know what I mean? We probably pretend a lot that we get what we need, but I bet most of us don't.
And oftentimes we don't call out what we're not getting for fear that we might lose what we already have.
Always, right?
So whether it's a family member or whether you're afraid to push your child harder because they're already trying their maximum capacity, whether your spouse is already making it the best they know how to prepare the food, and this doesn't taste the way I envisioned. All right, well, you're on your own next time. No, I don't want to be on my own next time.
Yeah.
I just want this not to be this next time. And
Right. So we use dishonesty to keep things on a
to keep peace, as we would suggest. And it's really not peace because we're living it with a lot of tension because there's so many things we're not saying. It's really
lack of drama is a better
right.
way.
It's to keep calm.
Right.
We just want we don't want to ruffle the feathers of the emotional temperature in the house. So to
Yeah.
keep calm, I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say this. And now you're sitting down and it's 15 things you haven't addressed
Hmm.
as you're considering other people's feelings and emotions. Well, now you're 15 things heavier in, and
Yeah.
now you need a break. He's like, what's stressing him out? He just walked in the door. Yep.
Yeah.
Walked in the door and nobody walked the dog. Nobody put the clothes in the dryer. There's dishes in the sink. This didn't happen. This didn't happen. And we have a system. System seems broken. And I got to redo the system after I figure out how to address the fact that things didn't happen the way I imagined. You're saying don't drink, don't smoke. We're going to stay off of sugars and all of the things that we pivot to in an addictive way. And we're going to handle that in some righteous capacity. And if you can manage that on a consistent basis, I want what you got. How do you do it? What's the sauce? What's the secret?
Failure, hard work. That's
That,
the secret sauce.
that part.
Being comfortable with failure, accepting that you're going to fail again. And
Not knowing, being wrong, everyone saying good try, but that's not right. And I think if you have a business or a hobby, it's easier because in your hobby, like as a musician, you're going to hit wrong notes. You're going to have to edit it. You're going to have to do the whole thing over.
yeah.
And you have to love doing the whole thing over, right?
Right.
You, if you want to get into this anything, if you want to be an author or a musician or a podcast host or a promoter, and you want to do it in one take and get a Grammy or a Pulitzer surprise, not prize, right?
Right.
If you're going to do one charitable effort and you want the NAACP award, it may not cut it. You may be that one that gets it done like that, but when you're passionate about it, uh, you don't mind having to tweak it. So I'm still working on it. I've got a car and I'm still working on it. It's not everywhere that I want it to be. Yeah, I've got a house project. I've got this kind of project. I've got a weight loss journey I'm going on. I've got all kind of things going on. And I'm okay with having to tweak certain
Yeah.
things.
I think that's the secret, man. Almost every single thing that I put out, whether it be a video, whether it be an article, whether it be a song or a chord progression or whatever, I always look at it as unfinished. That's just the best I got it to the last time I sat down with it. It's not a finished version for me. I don't see anything as complete very much as far as the stuff that I create. It's always just moving it down the field a little
Yeah.
further. But
Yeah.
it never actually ends up being finished to me. That's probably going to be problematic mentally.
No, it's why it doesn't get released. It's why it's like, are you still working on that? Yes. You've been working on it for some time. I'm proud to say I've been working on it for 6 years now.
It's unfinished.
I'm proud to say I have a commitment level that's second to none. I have been unsuccessful at being vulnerable to the world and committing to something that is imperfect because they might know I'm human if
Yeah.
I put it out there and it's not perfect. I don't want to be seen as human. I want to be seen as the hero, and therefore it will never be released. And I'm quite proud to say that I'm on my way.
That's hard to say, genuinely.
And it's what we say in our actions. And I'm only saying that out loud because that's been me. It's like, hey, why don't you just get it done? Well, you know what? The first time it didn't give me the success I want. So this time I'm trying to knock it out the park. So what are
Yeah.
you doing? So instead of hitting the ball, I'm spending the whole time just rotating the bat, getting ready, just doing the shoulder workouts, getting the
Yeah.
rotator cuff together.
Stretching it out, tapping
But,
the cleats,
but you're not swinging. It's like, no, no, no. Don't,
getting
don't,
ready.
don't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball. I'm out here. I've got two bats. I've got three bats. I'm ready. I'm getting my weight up. You got the smoothest gear. I've got it. Listen, have you seen my cleats? This helmet is exclusive. This is custom.
You can't get this anywhere.
You can't get this. Do you know the gum that I chew? Do you know how expensive this is? You don't even know what the finest type of thing, special oils. So we've got all the accoutrements for success, all of the imagery, and we rally all of the attention and never hit the ball. And I've done that for a long time. And so now I'm like, listen, it's okay to strike out. I'm going to get another time at bat. Let's just hit it. Let's ground it. Let's who knows what might happen. Ground it and run. Okay? The worst case scenario, we can we can bunt it,
Yeah.
but we gotta make contact, right? And so making contact with success is important. I think oftentimes we have an end goal of what it is to be successful, but you haven't made any contact. Success at the gym, just go to the parking lot, see what happens.
Right.
We gotta make some contact with proximity. We gotta make
Yeah.
some contact with
I don't
being.
think it's easy. You can see, at least in my experience, I can't see where I'm at in terms of being successful in the moment. I can see it looking backwards. I did good at that. I'm proud of that.
Mhm.
But it's hard. If I were to judge my success today, no, I'm struggling. I got I got so much to do. I have so many things I need to accomplish. So it's tough.
Your struggle is someone's success.
Right. Right.
Um, I'm struggling. It's like, but I heard you say you were sober. I wish I could get that far. You said you were on a weight loss journey, but you already lost so many pounds. I wish I can get that far. You said that you were trying and you were trying to finish book number, whatever number. I wish I can get through my email. I'm trying to get my homework done. And you're talking about books, and
Right.
so the
Perspective. Perspective.
right, the idea that I'm not where I am, but if I share where I am, it can still encourage someone else. If we are transparent enough
Or make them feel bad too. That could also be a thing. That's a dangerous part to navigate.
that you got to know who you're talking to, and or what motivates people, because I was motivated by how trouble I was doing, and
Mhm.
so it's it didn't my impact didn't always come from a healthy place, and so it would be very difficult for me to deliver from that same space, hoping that it could be true and it could be honest, but then it would also be hurtful. It would have a sting on it. Like, you really said that? You got to be able to take it. No,
Right.
just because I learned the lesson in grief doesn't mean that it has to be a grief stricken lesson.
Yeah.
That's just how I learned it. But oftentimes we pass it down the way we got it, right? We do to our children what was done to us. We teach someone else the way we learn. If I learn how to play very harshly, then I'm probably going to make a very harsh instructor, right?
Yeah.
And they'll say, "You're too harsh." That's what I learned. And we can be harsh when the results justify it. When the ends justify the means. Well, that's the Kobe mentality. All right. And so now we get away with it because he's a hero.
That's one set of circumstances.
Correct. We see all of the other circumstances where it doesn't end well because we're not machines. We are human beings trying to be productive in a healthy way that fortifies us socially and economically. So the socioeconomic migration that takes place mentally for humanity is not automated. It's not as much as we like to schedule it. Hey, if I just get up every day at this time and do this one thing consistently, I'm going to have this result. Cool. Very true. You don't allow a lot of room for life because what happens to have to make breakfast? What happens to my children who ever need me? If that's all I had to do, I could do that, but I also have to go to work, have to walk the dog. Perhaps there's something that I have to do for my personal hygiene or take a meeting. It doesn't give a whole lot of room. So then when life happens, we don't have a lot of room for that process. When
I've
it's
noticed that I've had that problem. I've set my schedule up so full and vigorously that any deviation outside of it, and I can't accommodate. And it's
yeah,
like crap.
can I make it weird? So now you don't have the capacity to be a good friend.
No, and I lose credibility for whoever was relying on me for that time.
You don't have capacity to be a good father, capacity to be a husband. There's no capacity to be a good son. And it's like, I want to be better at those things. I
Mhm.
don't have capacity at those things. This is not a good time for me to be a good son at the moment. It's just really not a good time for me to be a good dad. And we don't say these things aloud.
I was gonna say, where's the responsible dad saying that at a
Right?
family,
It's
guys?
like, hey, honey, I'm home. I don't have the capacity to be a husband, but I'm here. Very interesting. And wonderful marriage is supposed to osmosisly occur in within that framework.
Right.
Yes, because I deserve it because I'm working so hard. And the idea that you can be working out your arms and you see results in your legs is preposterous.
Right.
Right? And so because I'm working so hard on my career, because I'm working so hard on my nutrition, because I'm working so hard on my emotional healing, that does not translate to I'm a good dad. That does not translate to I'm working so hard on making sure that I'm in a safe space and I'm responsible to my struggles with addiction. That does not correlate that I'm a good husband. I've put
No.
no husband work in. I have
Right.
put a lot of me work in.
Yeah.
I've been good to me.
And that work can lend itself to all those other things, but it
Right.
is not those things.
In that moment, it's not the same thing.
Right.
It is absolutely not. I would, my son, Jaden, he would always make me laugh. We'd be having breakfast on a Saturday morning and he'd be enjoying himself and he'd be like, what's for dinner? And I'm like, Jay, let's just get through breakfast. But breakfast does not equate that dinner was. So now what he was saying was, you set the bar high.
Yeah.
How you gonna
How you
keep
gonna top
going?
this?
Right. Don't tell me that we're doing this bougie breakfast experience and we're having all of these lights, camera, and action for breakfast, and lunch is
You have
about to
Domino's for dinner, Dad?
right. You're gonna order pizza later.
Yeah.
Don't play with the standard that you set here.
Right.
And so we can be so good in one area, but because we don't necessarily blend our migrations, uh, we're not as efficient in other areas. So there's a writer in the scriptures that says, "Hey, I'm waiting to balance, and I'm found wanting. I'm good at this, but I'm terrible at that. There's not a balance, and I just got to work on the things that I'm not so good at all the time. There are things that I love that I'm not good at. I love family time, not always good at making time to spend in that quality space with my family,
Ditto.
right? And so,
Being present, that's my problem.
yeah, I love things that I may not be necessarily good at. I love the idea or the sensation of things that I don't have the capacity to cultivate. I
You
love.
know what that's like for me? It's
Mhm.
when family's in my house, that feeling is all right, my family's here, everyone's hanging out, I'm done. I can go over here.
I get my
That's
job.
what it feels like.
Everyone's happy. I've done my job. And
Right.
so, because I've done my job, now I'm absent.
Yep. Now I'm gonna
I'm
not
like, hey,
participate.
where are you? Oh, I did my job. We're all together. That doesn't mean that. That means you get to be together with us.
Right.
It was hard enough getting you here. You want me to get here and have conversation with you?
Yeah.
You didn't. That wasn't on the agenda. My job was to make the calls. So having capacity to do both things, to love my neighbor as I love myself, that means I'm loving two people. And so I may be so out of the loop. I may be so out of a healthy routine that learning how to love me takes up all my time. And I don't make a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And my neighbor's like, hey, how come you're not better at love? You have no clue how crappy of a person I was. Loving me is a whole journey. Forgiving me is a whole process. I'm getting over depression. I'm getting over addiction. I'm getting over anxiety. I'm getting over not wanting to harm myself and the people around me. Give me a moment with that. But in the meantime, if you need me to help you change your tire, I will.
Yeah.
But and so having that capacity, and as a father, having the capacity to love everyone on an individual. See, no coffee, I told you, but individual basis, because everyone requires love and a safety that looks different for them.
And everyone needs it differently.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
The needs of my 20-year-old are not the needs of my 16-year-old.
Oh, 1,000%. Mine
And
are only 3 years apart, and they're just worlds apart in what they need.
the communication is different. The time and the way they build up the conversation is different. And
Yeah.
so when one is like, hey, dad, I need this. That's perfect. Thank you for saying that. And I got another one of, so I'm like, dude, just tell me.
Beating around the bush.
Please, please, please. I
Yeah.
listened to this 10-minute introduction. And really, I'm listening to myself. It was like, you talk all right, right?
You just have a monologue going in your head,
Right.
right?
It's like, oh my gosh, is this what it sounds like when I'm talking? I'm so sorry. Is this what I take everyone through?
That was your that's what you passed down to your children right there.
Right. Ooh, you are going to annoy some people, son. Listen, come here, come here. Let me talk to you. I love you. Everybody's not gonna like that. I'm just gonna tell you right now. That's not gonna work well in every room. Some people don't want you to cut to it. And in this moment, I want you to practice. Let's just practice what that feels like for you. What does it feel like if you just tell me what it is?
Right.
But it is if you're committed to self improvement, it is a joy. Oh, I've got
Is it your alarm?
oh, no. I've got maintenance coming. I've
Oh,
got a whole bunch of things. Can we pause for? Sorry about that.
you're good.
Because
Got him all squared away?
well, I pointed him in the direction of his work site.
You must.
Hey, this is all you right here. I'm in the middle of a very important family call.
That's right. I'm online with the Prime Minister of New Zealand.
Listen, this is a matter of national defense.
That's right.
And, you consider yourself fortunate. Okay.
Discussing taxes and the incoming, I don't know.
The state of fallen humanity is in our hands.
Yeah. And we will be responsible with it. Folks, you can follow us. Trust us.
Isn't that loaded? And isn't that what our families require of us?
I think so.
Isn't that what our community requires of us?
Yeah.
Is that what our brothers require of us? And so when we're talking about having a support of a brotherhood, that's the requirement. The requirement is, hey, you can trust my emotion as a model. And whew, that's loaded. Because my model hasn't always been trustworthy.
Yeah.
So
a lot they don't deviate.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times I don't necessarily like being the model because that's pressure. What if this modeling isn't perfect and now there's scrutiny? What if now there's criticism? And it's my best work. I'm doing my absolute best. And if there's not the grace that says, hey, I see that you're trying to do something amazing, perhaps you can afford to tweak it here or there. What if there's not that? What if it's just, well, that's something.
Yeah.
What if I lose my audience? What if my family doesn't appreciate it? What if it goes unnoticed? And the idea that he probably shared something with me before his passing, and he probably shared it a few times, but I probably only heard it one time. He probably said it often, and one time I got it. He said, it's amazing what can happen when it doesn't matter who gets the credit.
Love that.
And I said, when you're not looking for credit, it's amazing the work that you'll do.
Right.
On the same token, when you don't feel shame for making mistakes in the effort to do something positive, I'm not saying the mistakes that hurt people, but hey, I put out the podcast and it wasn't perfect. I put out the music and it wasn't, I don't think we're going to get a Grammy off of it, but someone might enjoy it. It's just somebody will get it. When you're not looking for something in return, whether it's credit or validation, or you're not afraid of what you get in return, whether it's judgment or criticism, it's amazing what you'll do when you're just free to do from the space of genuine creativity. And he said it, and I don't know if he meant it as loaded as I'm able to process it today. It it runs and it rings so very true. There's so much that we don't do or we don't put out because my name is on it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be right because then it's going to be on my name. Well, what if it wasn't in your name? Then would you put it out? Well, if it wasn't in my name, I wouldn't even do it.
You wouldn't even look at it, right? You would just send it.
Right. And so it's amazing what can happen when it doesn't matter who gets the credit. And
there's a lot of power in that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Years later, he was dropping bombs.
Nuggets.
He was just kablooey.
Yeah.
He had the capacity to be president here, right? I didn't always show up as a son in that regard.
Right.
And in times where we're so preoccupied with who we want to be that it inhibits us from being present in what's needed of us. So there have been moments where I didn't show up with the capacity to be a good son, with the capacity to be a good father, with the capacity to be a good husband, with the capacity to be a good brother. The lack of capacity because I'm focused on me. I have some things that are positive that are going to be helpful to me, and maybe once I get those things situated, I'll be able to share. Right now, I don't have the capacity, and that's not necessarily fair to people who rely on you on a day-to-day basis. And so, when you are able to develop tools and routines that help you avail yourself on a regular basis to people you care about, those people are going to be inspired to, hey, I want some of that.
Right.
Dad, what are you doing? Let's get in on that. Hey, honey, what's up with that? Well, how come you never invite me? Are you saying that you appreciate the adjustments I've made in the home?
Right.
I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying you should have invited me. Well, what I'm hearing is that you can appreciate some of the improvements.
You know what's sad? Before my dad passed away, it took the event of him passing away for me to realize that I didn't really get to know him. Like, I didn't spend the appropriate amount of time that I thought to learn who my dad was. So at the end, what I did is I just recorded a bunch of conversations and I put it out as a podcast. But it forced me at the end to be like, God, there's so much crap I want to know about my dad that I never thought of asking him. So that put me in a weird position. And I try to share as much as I can with my kids now, like all my stories.
I think I probably overshare
With your kids?
for the subconscious. Hey, you got to know this life lesson. I'm the guy pausing the movie, sharing the lesson that I see in it. I don't want them to miss. Like,
You guys see what happened there?
right. You do know that in real life. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, it's just a movie. We get it. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that we had this conversation. I just
Yep.
want to make sure. Because there were so many conversations I didn't have.
Right.
Right. There were so many things that weren't shared with me. And there were so many things I wasn't available to hear. There is entitlement is a killer in any relationship of any dynamic.
Yeah.
Father, son, whether it's husband, whether it's parental, entitlement is just poof. And because we expect something, and that's okay, but then it comes to, I deserve something.
Right.
And then that shifts to, I deserve it from you. And that just shifts from, I deserve it from you now.
Where is my stuff? Yeah.
Right. What do you mean you want to talk? Where's, no, where's what you owe me?
Yeah.
And it's like, And I don't think we do that intentionally. But I think if we're not careful, we don't put a lid on that. If we're not cognitive of how much sugar we're intaking,
Yeah.
then just building a sugar addiction. And if we're not cognitive over how entitled we are behaving, we just move in this narcissistic vein of you owe me this, you owe me this, give me this, give me this. I show up for collections, not for to offer my capacity.
Yeah.
I deserve this because I desire this, and you're the person responsible for it. And my commercial, I want it, and I want it now.
Yeah.
And if that's not what you're offering me, I don't know what we're talking for.
Yeah. Pretty wasted time.
I don't even know why we're here if you're not giving me what I asked for.
Yeah.
I don't even know why we're having this conversation. I don't know why I drove all the way out here. I don't know why I answered the phone. I started not to answer the phone, but when I answered the phone, you're still not saying the thing I want to hear.
Right. What are you
I don't
doing?
know. I don't even know what we're talking. And didn't know that about myself until someone showed me because that was their behavior.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you're selfish. It seems like you always act like I owe you something. Huh. When I consider that, in our circumference, in our proximity, that they are there to show you and help things come to the surface so that you can resolve them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how is that me? I don't act like that. Oh,
Then your friend should be like, "Hey, dude, remember when you said this at the barbecue? Like, that's it."
you do act like that.
Yeah.
Never done that to anyone in the world. I don't know why I'm getting this. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that this might have felt like that. If that's the case, I may have actually done that a lot.
Right. I've come to a lot of those realizations.
If that's how we're doing the math, if we're doing the whole 1 and 1 is 2, if we're going to play that game, and I've been putting the extra, I've been carrying the extra 1 for a long time. I've been trying to, I've been trying to get 3 out of 2 for. It's not the first time I've done this. And so
Right.
then it's very humbling, right? And I have tried to get 3 out of 2 I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I like to say I've made at least 2 mistakes in my life.
Me too this morning, I'm sure.
No, I cap it at 2. I'm not going to go around. Hey, I make all kinds of mistakes all day. No,
Yeah.
Dr. Jones only made 2 mistakes.
Just took care of them.
I took care. Well, I was about to say, took care of those, nipped those in the bud. I learned from those 2, and we're good now.
No more mistakes here on out. Smooth sailing, straight and
Yeah,
narrow.
me
Right
too,
on.
right? I made 2 mistakes, corrected those errors, and look at me now. I'm on the Riverside
I'm flying.
podcast. People are calling for me. I've got books. It's just 2 mistakes. If you can fix those 2 mistakes in your life,
Yeah.
heavens will open up for you.
That's going to be the intro to every video clip that I put out. Fix these 2 mistakes for a better life. Doesn't matter what the video is about. I'm just going to put that.
Just fix the 2 mistakes.
Yeah, good hook.
Made 2. They were big ones. All right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm still paying for them.
Let me guess, you left the milk out once when you were a kid.
I spilled it and left it out.
Was those both 1 and 2 of the mistakes?
No, that was only one. It was a big one. If I'm gonna make a mistake, it's gonna be a big one. I learned big lessons. That's why I have big wisdom. Big
Straight to the top shelf with my mistakes.
Right. I never did the small stuff. I never cut outside the lines.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
I never did tie my shoelaces. I did everything perfectly.
Oh
I
yeah.
went straight to the top with mistakes. It
Mhm.
was how do you become a criminal? Okay, that was not good.
Check. Got it.
Well, this is not how you want to do that. And also, how do you destroy your family? Okay.
That's pretty easy also. Here you go.
Listen, I've always been a student. Whatever I'm at, I'm going to do it very well.
You would never make a mistake. Not a straight A student.
I made those 2 mistakes at a very high level.
Even the mistakes I make.
Even my mistakes are excellent at a superior level. My mistakes are like those regular people mistakes.
Yeah, that's regular people mistakes.
Please, I would never make a common mistake like that.
When my daughter was pregnant with my granddaughter, we were discussing what to call me, like or like grandpa, grampy, papa, whatever. What I thought of and what I was trying really hard. I started a campaign. I wanted her to call me Papa Nitro, like the American Gladiator.
Yeah.
For the joke, like if I could make that joke last 50 years, that would be amazing.
Not Turbo or Gemini or
Nitro.
Nitro.
Yeah,
Did that go?
It didn't. The girls didn't like it.
Are you kidding me?
No, they didn't like it. Can you believe it? But the husband did. My son-in-law loved it. Big fan.
Well, listen, Papa Nitro being our heart. When she gets older, you'll be able to do lunch dates and listen.
Yeah.
Call me Papa Nitro. We order our food.
No, I'm gonna reinstitute the campaign very soon. I watched her yesterday by myself for the first time, and it was great. Yeah.
Who got that for you, Papa Nitro? Who?
Yeah, I want that conversation to happen.
My youngest son, he was around 3 years old, and we were explaining some of the dynamics of the house between how he fit into the pack with my older sons. So with his siblings, he's like, well, this one's the biggest, this one's the coolest. Going through all how we work as a dynamic. Said you're okay, and then he was like, well, who are you? And I was like, oh, me. He's like, yeah, how do you fit in? He was putting all this together, and I was like, I'm Supreme Leader.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un in this house.
He was like, Supreme Leader? I was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, go upstairs, tell your brothers that Supreme Leader said come downstairs for me. Right? So,
this is not a democracy.
Right? He goes upstairs, hey, Supreme Leader says to come down to his teenage brothers, right? And they're like, Supreme Leader said, get downstairs right now. Dad, what's he on? I will no
it's
longer
Your Highness, and
right. I will no longer be referring to these futile colloquialisms of death. What is a daddy?
I'm not your daddy.
Will only respond to the eloquence of Supreme Leader. Will I take me to practice or not?
That statement, and yes, I am.
First of all, get your cleats. Second of all, in our royal carriage, but
set forthwith and open the door.
Yes, to with forth we go hither.
Oh man, you got a hard stop here pretty soon, huh?
Do, and I've got some stuff going on in the house. Always, this is rich for me.
It's really therapeutic for me too. I love having conversations with you.
Our conversations are not chore, task oriented. Our conversations are a safe space to me where I can show up without the accoutrement of
Your cool library?
my background, uncoffeed, uncaffeinated.
Never again, Dr. Joe.
It's never happening. I promise. It's not gonna happen. Right? Dull-eyed and bushy-tailed, but it's very refreshing to not have to perform.
Yeah.
I think the entire nature of a support is, hey, you don't have to perform. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be impressive to be accepted
Right.
as a patient, right? No, we're impressed that you're here.
Yeah.
You showed up.
I'm impressed that, keep showing up. That is the main thing to me. Keep showing up, keep the conversation going.
Setting in spotlights and cake all day long.
Yeah.
Because you showed up.
Right.
And so thank you for showing up for the world. Thank you for showing up for your family. Thank you for encouraging your listening audience to show up for themselves. Because when we show up for ourselves, we'll show up better for others. And if you can identify those two mistakes,
life changer. Those two mistakes, you fix those, you're going to live a life that is totally almost above average.
Absolutely, positively, almost above average.
Almost.
Take it from me, your supreme leader, right?
We get some cool clips out of this.
The sound bites that are coming from this conversation, right?
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Chris, you take it easy, man. I appreciate you.
All right, my brother. You have a good day, man.
All
Hey,
right.
can you leave it open for a few minutes after we're done? Awesome. Yep.
Too easy.
All right, my brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Later. And that wraps up another insightful, thoughtful Thursday episode with Dr. Joe Shepard, only on Almost Above Average. We hope this episode has inspired you to embrace your journey, find balance, and cherish in the power of authenticity. If you enjoyed our conversation, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review. It really helps others discover our show. And don't forget to share this episode with a loved one who might benefit from these insights. And remember, your struggles and triumphs can inspire others, so keep showing up for yourself and those around you. Until next time, I'm Chris McIntyre, and this has been Almost Above Average. Stay thoughtful, everyone.